Hey everyone, Niels here from Dingy. Welcome back to the channel. You might have seen me talk about websites in the last couple of weeks. We've been redesigning our own website. I talked about using Sanity as the content management system and SvelteKit as the front end, and shown you all sorts of different technical possibilities we've been incorporating into our website. Today I want to step back a little and give you like a bird's eye overview of all of the options that are out there to build websites on the internet in 2024. So we build websites at Dingy. For our customers, we follow the approach of a headless content management system and separated of that front end of the website. But let's take a step back and look at all the different options that are out there. My goal with this series is to give you, as someone who has to make a decision for their business on how to approach your next website project, to give you a good overview of which general directions are out there hopefully without dropping into the next rabbit hole. So you can make an informed decision about your next project. There's a long blog post that I put together, and I'm actually making this video to accompany this blog post. It's pretty detailed, and I think I'm going to continue this series in the future. But we get so many questions on why we chose to build websites the way we do at Dingy. And to understand this, I think we have to look at 4 broad categories that I identified. But before we look at those categories, let's talk a little bit about what's required of a website today. Like, websites 20 years ago were super easy. You could just put your content, link up a couple images, upload it on the web, and that's it. I looked at some stats when Google came into play, in the late 90s or something. There were around 2 million websites, something like that. And today, it's well over 1 billion. It's completely mind-blowing what is out there. And websites have so many crazy requirements these days. They should look good, of course. They have to load fast. We all know about search engine optimization, our favorite topic of SEO. How can you rank high on the first page of the search engine result page? Websites have to load super fast. They have to work on your phone, on your tablet, on your TV. A friend of mine has a fridge now with a display. So I guess he's pulling up websites there for recipes, I guess. There's GDPR, privacy-aware websites. They have to respect the privacy of your visitors. They have to work in multiple languages. They, as we said, should rank high on search engines. They have to be extensible in the future. They should not be hacked. There's the list goes on and on. You, as someone who has to decide about these projects, probably knows that. And so I came up with 4 different categories of broad ways, I think, of making websites. The first one, I'm going to start with the most popular group, I guess. Roughly half of the internet consists of WordPress pages. We all know WordPress. There are other famous big monolith systems, as one says. There's Typo3, there's Joomla, there's Drupal. All of these website platforms have been around for a long while. And the general system is you have a server that has a database. There's a server-side processing language. We're not going to fall in that rabbit hole. But the point is, you get to have a server with a bunch of software on it. And when I come to your website that's made with WordPress, the request comes in. Depending on what page I want, the database is going to spit out some data. It's going to be mixed up with HTML and all sorts of whatever plugins you have installed, and it will give you a website. And that's a wonderful approach that has stood the test of time and is still very popular today. There's always pros and cons to every approach. The blog post goes in much more detail. I guess one of the popular downsides of this approach is you need a pretty involved server that can be hacked. There's like, you have to keep the software updated. Someone has to run the server. You have to update WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, all of that stuff has updates, like Windows has updates. And you got to take care of all this stuff, right? The pros, of course, WordPress is vastly popular. There's like 1 million templates and plugins, and you can kind of very quickly stick a website together that works and that gets you off the ground very quickly. And in times of GDPR and other security concerns, you even have the option of choosing a local provider in your country relatively easily. And so that's a pro for sure. Then we probably all heard of no-code platforms or visual website builders. A popular one is squarespace.com. There's also wix.com, Framer. Webflow is a new one that goes a little bit more into the direction of enabling front-end developers to make a website visually, but with the knowledge they have. But generally the approach is that's like supposed to be even easier than WordPress. Like you almost always start on a template. You just pay like a small fee for the platform to give you everything out of one hand. So you pay a monthly fee of, I don't know, $20 or something, and they host the website for you. It includes a CMS. You can even add-in options for e-commerce, and it's great. Like you don't have to know anything about programming to get started with that website yourself. Downsides of this approach might be that you're kind of locked in with this provider. So if your website grows to be the next Amazon, they are probably going to charge you a lot in the future. And even if you're not the next Amazon, like all of the content that you put on your website is locked in their silo. So these are all proprietary providers, of course, and they're not necessarily compatible with each other. So if you wanted to move your website that you started to build on Squarespace and you wanted to move that to the next more comprehensive option, like, I don't know, like WordPress, like Typo 3, then you will probably have to do a fair amount of copy pasting because they don't just give you the content for free and let you move off the platform. There's an export option, sure, but it's not seamless. And they want to keep you on the platform, of course. Still, I would say if you're a startup and you just want to shoot out a website tomorrow, those are a great option for sure. A third one coming out of the developer's corner, who were frustrated with huge server setups that you need for WordPress and Typo 3 and stuff like that, is the category of static site generators. So static site generators basically take the concept of something like WordPress, where you have a database and you have your data in one place, and then you have how the website is supposed to look on the others. And when a request comes in, WordPress makes you a page. Static site generators do the same thing, but they do it offline, so to say. There's like a so-called build step, which just means whenever you want to publish new content onto your website, you kind of build your website again, and it will spit out a whole bunch of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. Just like a zip file. You basically get a zip file with all the pages that are part of your website, and you can upload that to basically every hosting provider on the planet. That's as basic as it gets. Those sites are super fast because there's no website involved, none whatsoever. You can just upload it everywhere. There's no place to hack these websites because, well, there's nothing to hack. It's just an HTML file. And they are super flexible because you can update the templates quickly. And that's a great approach. I think this was very popular a couple years back, is still very popular, but is probably also not necessarily the solution for a website that's supposed to scale. Just because if you have 1,000 pages, at some point this whole build process will take relatively long. It might be hard to integrate dynamic data. So if you have a database, if you're a publishing platform, for example, if you're like imagine a newspaper website or something where content changes quickly, that would probably not be the right approach with the static site generator. And then finally, there's this relatively new approach of completely separating the content management system from the website. That's called the headless approach. And the headless approach is what we do at Dingy. And our current stack is Sanity.io. That's the content management system we're using. Other popular ones that you might have heard of are Contentful.com, Strapi. There's a whole bunch of content management systems that focus on the content management and not on the delivery of the website. And that, for example, has the benefit of if you ever needed a new website, you don't need a new CMS, right? Like if you were to just completely replace your website or add a second one or a third one, then you'd still just need this one content management system, and you can connect all of the different websites that your business needs to this one system. You can replace one of them, you can, even connect a new app or something, and it can get all of the information you have stored in your content management system out of there through an API. And that's a very flexible approach, just because it's the so-called separation of concerns. You have content management systems on the one hand, and you have the website on the other hand. Like those can even be maintained by different teams. I guess this solution is like the next level solution. Since it just takes a little bit more coding effort to set all of this up, this is probably a good solution for scale-ups that kind of know into which direction you're going, because you can do everything that you like. Like a module that we always deliver with the websites that we build is a so-called landing page builder, where you just have like a bunch of predefined blocks, and content authors can put together landing pages super quickly, and they're all entirely on brand because the website decides how the content is going to come out. And I think to wrap this up, there's no clear cut between these four categories. Like the websites we build using SvelteKit can be used as a static site generator. There's other platforms that work a little bit like Sanity and give you all your data, but enable you to build landing pages on the platform itself, like HubSpot. And yeah, but so we broadly have these four categories of big server-side software like WordPress and Typo3 and all that stuff. They have great options, relatively involved with the server setup. Then we have visual website builders like Squarespace, Wix, Framer, Webflow, all of those things. Those are great. You have to do everything yourself, of course. They are proprietary. On the other hand, they get you off the ground super quickly. Like they build beautiful websites that work great also on mobile. It's a very good option. We have static site generators. Those are also great for smaller sites, personal blogs, I would say. They can be made very secure because it's just HTML. And then there's the headless approach that I just went through. So I hope this was useful to get an overview of the different options out there. Please let me know if I should go into the different categories a little bit more deeply. I'm planning to start a series, this type of video, to show you around the different areas or the different disciplines when building websites, like content management, security, search engine optimization, accessibility, like all of those topics that are a video in itself. I'm going to make one to give you like a good overview of what's out there in 2024. Thank you, and see you on the next one.